Welcome back to another edition of First Person, again sponsored by the Ruin Camp Farm Drainage Company up the road here in Fort Loramie. 81 years of experience. They'll make water work for you for residential, farm, and commercial. Call Phil Barhorse, sponsor of First Person. Opportunity this week to do something a little different. Our first trip outside, except we're not outside, as you can tell, to talk spring baseball. And nobody better than one of the favorites, and certainly one of my favorites among the area coaches, Rick Gold from Russia High School, the head baseball coach of the Raiders. We did this exactly 2.5 years ago, and it's always fun to sit down with you because you and I are sort of cut from the same cloth. I know there's people who say, well, finally, you know, you're going to show us with baseball for the next 8 weeks. I make no apologies. I make no apologies. When we can talk, well, I apologize.
That's right. Again, baseball is a great sport, and we need somebody to promote it, that's for sure.
No one has done a better job than you for these 30-some-odd years at Piqua and all the different places. I think most people here know you from your years at Piqua, but you've been at Wittenberg, you've been at other schools. I don't guess the passion for baseball is any different than it would be for Paul Brimingen and basketball. And yet, I don't know if I can explain it, yet it's different than the other sports.
Baseball, it's like a new, fresh beginning in a way because the grass is hopefully going to turn green, birds will start to chirp, and just after a long winter,
sun will shine.
Spring is pretty special.
That's true, and you know, I think the other thing is, somebody explained this, Coach Hartman said this once to me, the reason that so many people like baseball is there's so many different ways you can be involved with it. You can play slow pitch softball, you can play fast pitch, anybody can play. So if you just play catch, you can like baseball.
Without a doubt. And a lot of it, I swear, stems back when they were growing up and playing catch with their dad or brother and family. And there's a lot of fond memories of baseball with a lot of people.
Let me ask you this, Rick. Do you remember the first trip to Crosley Field?
Yes, I do, without a doubt. I was in high school.
Tell me about it.
I went, Milt Lewis, the old basketball coach, Coach Lewis's dad, and another gentleman were taking their sons or friends and family to Crosley Field, and somebody couldn't go. And somehow I got asked, and I still remember going down there for the afternoon, watching the game. I got great memories that day.
I can remember my first game at Crosley Field was in June of 1962. My dad took me and I watched Joey J. pitch against the New York Mets, expansion New York Mets, and Casey Stengel, and the Reds won 2-1 that day. I remember it as much as, you know, my wedding day. Or
I think everybody's like that. I swear everybody remembers that first time.
Baseball special. We're talking with Rick Gold from Russia High School this week, and I'm going to ask you this. When we talked a couple years ago, you talked about coming here and establishing a culture of winning and competition in baseball, not unlike what Paul Brimingen, as we mentioned, has done with basketball for 30 years. You've done that, and tell me a little bit about how that's been in the 2 years.
Well, it's been pretty special, and again, I don't know if I really established anything. I just continued what had been brought here before. Again, this community loves baseball. They enjoy baseball. Again, basketball and baseball are their two main sports, and Coach Foster has really brought cross country up to an unbelievable level, but they love the game. And when you look at their Little League complex and the high school complex, they've just done some amazing things here. And the kids, they play hard, they just like the game, and they enjoy playing, and you can see it the way they play.
I'll tell you what stood out to me. You guys were regional finalists last year, and I remember the pain in that dugout over in Springfield the night you waited around there through the rain. Terrible condition to play in, but you waited around there all day to play. You get beaten a close game by Convoy Crestview, and the pain on your kids' faces, you know, after the kind of season that you had, winning season, to have come up a game short of going to the Final Four in Columbus. That says a lot about the competitive culture in your program.
Without a doubt. Again, those kids played so hard all year long, and during that rain delay, again, they were still focused, still ready to play, and we just came up a little bit short, and they were very, very disappointed.
Very challenging to play baseball in Ohio. We're sitting in the Russia gym here because we have to. If we went outside, you'd chip a tooth from, you know, your teeth chattered. I don't want that to happen to you, but tell me how you keep baseball special in March and April when you have to play under the conditions? Because you never know from one day to the next whether you're going to play or not.
It can be difficult. Again, it's so hard. Like baseball's an outdoor sport. You got to practice at the critical time of the year. You're practicing inside, and a lot of times you don't get outside till it's game time. So we just do a lot of different individual drills, team drills to try to keep the kids interested and learning, and to try to make up for the lack of what we can't do outside.
I know you like good competition. You've always played against great people when you were at Piqua and the old GMBC then,
Right.
and later the GWOC. You had Tim Engelke at Centerville, and you had the coach down at Northmont. And you had good people you always played against. And you come right here in the Shelby County League, and darn if you don't have the same type of competitive advantage for your kids, because you got Bill up at Fort Laramie, and Anna plays good baseball. Jackson Center's played great baseball for years. Tell me a little bit about what that league has meant to you.
Again, playing in the GWalk and the GMBC was so cool to get to know Coach Harlow, Tim Engelke, and we were talking about this last night. We had the Hall of Fame banquet down in Dayton, and we were talking about the camaraderie that baseball coaches can have, yet still go nose to nose on the field. And then to come to this league, and there's Coach Sturwald and Coach Muirfeld, and our non-league games against Coach King at Lehman. Again, I like those feelings with the coaches. I like getting to know the coaches. I like going head-to-head with them, and when the game's over, we can shake our heads sometimes, but shake hands
and move on.
And move on.
And move on. It's going to be good for you again this year, because I know Anna's going to be improved. Bill's had a young team at Laramie last year. Principally, I'm going to say those are probably your two biggest rivals in Shelby County League this year. You don't take anybody for granted, but you're going to have a very competitive process here this year going into the tournament.
I think we're going to be good, and I don't usually say that quite like that. I try to low-key things, but we got 3 nice pitchers back. We got a great nucleus returning. We lost a couple really important people in Trey Francis and Trevor Sherman, but we got a good crew coming back. But like you said, a lot of other teams are going to be pretty good too. So it's going to be a stiff competition, and it's going to be fun. I like playing those kind of games.
Well, you could be sandbagging when you say we got some good kids coming back, because it's about pitching in baseball, and particularly in high school baseball. And you got a couple coming back, and I'm going to say particularly your left-hander. I want you to talk a little bit about him, because he's pretty special.
Nolan
Francis.
Yeah, Nolan Francis. He pitched a little bit for us as a freshman last year. He started out as our 3rd starter, and we ended up making some moves defensively, and he ended up getting stronger and stronger as the year progressed. Pitched for us in the regional finals against Convoy Crestview, threw very, very well. Had a good summer playing for the Dayton Classics. He's gotten bigger, stronger, had an outstanding year in basketball. We expect big things out of him.
Competitive confidence, and you can follow him up with Gavin Hoying.
Exactly. Gavin is, I'm not sure, 6'4", tall, string bean kid, and throws a hard ball. And he's a little bit more raw than Nolan is. But if he gets some things smoothed out, he's going to be very, very good.
Russia fans will remember last year, good pitching, you caught the ball adequately, you had some issues with scoring runs. Now, a year and growing up and maturity says an awful lot, and it's part of baseball, because you can look at the Reds and they have some of the same issues. But tell us a little bit about what your prognosis is for more offense.
Well, offensively, again, we had 3 kids that had real good years for us last year. Bailey Francis, who played left field, Isaiah Counts, who played first base, and Cole Mackler down here starting shortstop, and all 3 are returning. Those were our 3 top hitters, and they're all back. And we just need to try to get a little bit more support from a few of the other guys. And again, as sophomores, those guys didn't exactly light things up and had a great junior year, and so we're expecting the same thing out of a lot of the juniors that we got.
I can't let you go without at least somebody will say, well, you didn't ask him any of the tough questions. I'll ask you the perennial tough questions for Rick Gold, because every year the rumor is this is the last year for Rick Gold. I don't personally believe that because a lot of these kids you're talking about are juniors. I would think you'd maybe want to have at least a couple more years with these guys.
Well, I tell you, this is a pretty good group, and like you said, the majority of them are juniors. Again, the three kids I mentioned, Cole, Bailey, and Isaiah, are seniors, but we do have a great junior group. And who knows what will happen. I've retired from teaching, I think, 4 times, and I'm still teaching. So I still like the game. I like being out on the field, and I like the kids, and I think they keep me a little bit young.
How could you get tired of baseball?
Exactly.
How could you get tired? You go anywhere in the state of Ohio, and you mention Rick Gold's name to a fellow baseball coach, and you'll get a smile, and I think I know why. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, Sonny.
Best of luck this year. We'll see you often on Press Pros. Wraps up another edition this week of First Person, again sponsored by our friends at Ruin Camp's Farm Drainage up in Laramie. Give them a call. They'll make water work for you. And on behalf of Ruin Camps and Coach Gold, we thank you again for your support. It's been great throughout the high school basketball season, the recent tournaments. We've enjoyed having you tune in, read us, write to us all the time. Appreciate your support. We'll see you again next time with another edition of First Person here on Press Pros.